uh, Big Boss is something I signed a week before. Um, and I don't think I realized what I was getting into till that door didn't shut behind me, you know. Um, because I'm somebody who's a very private person, and to actually be in a house with cameras on you 24/7 is very, very difficult. You kind of become immune to it after some time, but I think I definitely came out stronger. I came out more confident. I came out uh, uh, with better understanding of Hindi, because I remember I was punished several times in the house for speaking in English. Now, of course, everybody just breaks the rule in that house, but at that time, we followed the rules. We were punished if we didn't. Um, Jalak Diklaja also. I think they'd approached me 2 or 3 years before as well, and I didn't want to be a part of the show, but then it just came to me when I was ready. I thoroughly enjoyed the process because I absolutely love dancing. Um, it was not, I mean, we were dancing, 10, 12 hours every day, so it was extremely tiring. But if you love dancing, you're not really going to feel that pain as much, you know. Khatron Ke Khiladi, I don't know why I did. It was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, I think. Uh, and given a choice, I would never, never do that show again.
Right.
Never. I really don't know what I was thinking. It's very, very tough.
So when you were talking about the reality show and you all were locked in, and suddenly, my thought is coming back to our lockdown, which the whole country sort of just witnessed. So please throw some light on what kept you positive and during the lockdown. And, also give us some fitness tips, for our viewers, especially because, even though now, of course, we are in the unlocking phase, but people are too scared to sort of step out to do exercises. I play tennis, and my coach says that, you don't have to touch the ball. And I did brave it. And I live in Delhi now. I used to live in Bombay, but I did brave it on Saturday, and I went and I played, but I was so scared. Like, mentally I was stressed out, but yeah, I didn't touch the ball, so I guess it should be fine. But so I want you to tell us a bit about
When I think when this sort of initially, the initial stages, the first few weeks were definitely very, very difficult for me as well. Emotionally, I was getting a lot of anxiety with what was happening around us. But I'm so, and also at that time we were not allowed to, go out, get people into the buildings were not
yes,
allowing our staff to come in. So I didn't have my cook, my cleaner, and I had to learn how to cook. That would come in between my workout time. And so, the first month was very, very frustrating for me. And then luckily for me, luckily for everyone, actually, technology gives us a chance to actually, see our family members, our friends now, so you don't feel as lonely. You know what I mean? You otherwise it would get very, very difficult.
yeah,
So I would speak to my family several times. I would meditate, um, and then eventually I sort of got over it. I adopted a kitten. So that really, I think, brought a lot of peace and joy into my life, even more of that. And weekends, I go and I spend time with my family because I live alone. So that's really nice. There's like a balance of both. I get my peace and quiet at home, and then all the halla, the shore in Shilpa's house. But I mean, see, I can't really crib because given the situation outside, with whatever we're watching outside, whatever we were watching about the migrants not having food, not having any place
yes,
to live in, um, I mean, I'm so grateful that I have a home to live in, a roof over my head,
yes,
and
yes.
food on my plate. So I really can't complain.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I'm reading this book, Ikigai, and it's talking about all the principles and, about life and, I mean, gratitude, which is so important in
Yes.
today's time. And so tell me, what really keeps you fit? Is it dancing or any other fitness regime which you follow, or any tips which you can tell our viewers which they can do while they're at home?
So I weight train, um,
Okay.
and that is something that has worked for me for a very long time now. I've been weight training over 20 years, and it's worked really well for me. Um, Weight training, cardio, functional training. Functional training is really, easy to do at home. For those people who don't have gyms at home, you kind of work your entire body. You're using your body weight.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a good option for people. And I know I can talk about taking care of your diet and all of that crap, but at a time like this when your anxiety levels are really high, I'm pretty sure people are overdoing food,
Yeah.
and yeah, what they're eating right now, and can't blame them. I did it too. For I think 1 2 months I was just binging. I was eating everything in front of me.
Yeah.
um and I mean, I'm an emotional eater, but I balance it out in the gym, and I think that is very, very important. You need those endorphins in your body. You need those
Yes.
endorphins, that chemical to be released in your
Yeah.
body. It helps you feel better.
Yes.
And of course, meditation. um, that is something I kind of practice a lot. Having said that, it's not like I don't go through my anxious moments. I go through that as well, but then I express it, and I work over it. I meditate, and I feel much better, and
Yeah.
then move on.
Yeah. And you have a huge following of 2.2 million influencers, and also you're really, really active on social media. So give us some tips. How have you got such a huge following? And, how did you think of starting on that? And, if you could talk a bit more on that.
Well, 2.2 is not that much also. There are people who have a lot more. But I think I got on social media when I was doing Jhalak, because at that time my team thought that it was important to connect with people a little more, because everything was dependent on audience voting for me to stay in that show. Also, I honestly, the only thing that I was on before was Facebook. I used to like Facebook. It wasn't very intrusive. Plus, you can kind of pick and choose who you want on your page, on your platform. Um, I used to find Insta very, very harrowing. I'm not somebody who can post about everything that I do in my life. Like I said, I'm a very private person. But then in time, I sort of started enjoying it.
Join.
You know, um, Having said that, some people are, I think, quite mean with their comments sometimes. But there are also some people who are really kind with their words, uh, and say some really nice things. So it's a balance of both.
So Ishita actually has asked one of our audience that how do you deal with negativity on social media if, let's say, someone's trolling? She just asked that question, so I thought I'll ask you.
Um, Most of the time, I ignore it, because I'm somebody who also reads my comments. It's not like I post and I don't read. Sometimes when I can, I also respond to some of them. But I mean, if it is something that I am that really, really offends me, they say something about my family, or but when they say something about my family, yeah, that's something I won't tolerate. I think once or twice I did put up a post, um, expressing exactly how I felt about negative comments or trolling. But I don't give it as much importance to really um, get bothered about every time I post something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I know who I am. My family knows who I am, what I'm going through, where I've come from. So I don't really owe people an explanation.
Yeah. And was content creation easy for you during the lockdown or for your social media? Any,
Content creation.
I mean, anything like, was it easy for you to do
No,
that?
no,
No?
not really. I'm not somebody who's going to sit and click pictures of me every day and videos of everything I'm doing. I can't do. I just can't. But then again, my team will call me up and give me a piece of their mind, and then I put up something that I can. But you see, the thing is, as much as possible, I try and put out something positive, something that will help someone else. You know, I like to use my platform for that.
Yeah. And tell us a bit about your childhood. I saw one question that you were a naughty kid, so I thought I'd ask you that
I was
question.
not a naughty kid. I mean, maybe I was. I don't know. I was very quiet, an introvert.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, maybe a lot of my teachers didn't like me because I was naughty. Uh, I hated following rules, but eventually I did. I was also a good student. I was heavily into sports. So it's not like I was
Which,
someone who
which,
didn't
which
first.
sport did you like playing?
I was an athlete, a sprinter. I played volleyball, state level, and yeah, these two.
And what is the evolution of the women you've seen in the Indian film industry in the recent years? Have you seen any change?
Oh,
Because you start, yeah, like any nice changes which you've seen, or where do you think we can be in the next few years? If you'd like to throw some light on that.
I think for starters, women, not just in the industry, I think um, any profession, anywhere, women are finally speaking up. If they don't like something, they're expressing themselves. They have an opinion, and they make sure that they express it. I like that. As far as women in our industry is concerned, I think the industry has really changed. I entered the industry 20 years ago. The kind of work you see women doing today is absolutely fantastic. Now, also, the audience is more accepting of these stories. They're fine seeing women-centric films. So the demand also has changed out there. We're living in a day and age now where people no longer keep quiet, and it's not just about men and women. When there's something wrong that happens in front of them, um, we express
That
it.
there is a change.
Yes,
And I
there's
can see
definitely.
one. I can see one of your fans saying Shamita is so quiet and beautiful and peaceful, and her smile is so amazing.
I'll see. Thank you.
And tell us a bit, like, which was your favorite film and which inspired you to become an actor, or which has been your all-time favorite film?
My all-time favorite is Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings. There's Harry Potter. I love watching these films again and again. Uh, it takes me to a very different world. I love watching horrors. Um, so it really depends on my mood. But Lord of the Rings is something I mean, that's a film I loved. I even sat and watched the making so many times.
And any favorite dialogue you'd like to share with us?
From Lord of the Rings.
Or any movie, not just Lord of the Rings, but any movie. Or
I
something which inspired you. Let's say, okay, let's talk about a movie which has inspired you when you were growing up and then you thought you would want to be an actor. Did that happen?
I never wanted to be an actor. I was so shy. This complete tomboy. I never thought I would be an actor.
But
So, I mean, I was always fond of dancing, yes. I would never miss Madhuri Dixit's songs.
Hans.
Yeah, like I would really look forward to them, but nothing. I'm not somebody who really remembers dialogues and all that.
And so, are you still dancing like now that we are all locked in, or we are like in the unlocking phase?
No, I'm not. I do a lot of events, shows. Unfortunately, none of that is happening right now for obvious reasons. But that is the only time when I go to the rehearsal hall and I dance, and I really look forward to it. I enjoy it. I enjoy performing. So I really miss that.
Which has been your favorite dance show, which you've enjoyed, like an experience you'd like to share with us?
Jhalak
Sorry?
Dikhla
Jhalak.
Jhalak Dikhla Ja. Yeah. Jhalak
Oh,
was a show where I learned so many different forms of dance, and I also had a teacher who was very good, Deepak. So he's someone who would really like go to the basics and teach me every form really well. He was very patient with me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, there were times when I would barely sleep for like 3-4 hours. I'd come back so tired, but because I was so tired, I could not sleep. I barely saw my family for like what 4-5 months. I think the show went on for quite some time. So I barely saw my family. I'd go early in the morning and come back late at night. But I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I broke my nose in the show, but I still continued. And I don't know how many parts of my body I injured, like permanent injury. But I enjoyed myself.
so Zohaib has written that he enjoys your TikTok videos, and please throw a bit of light on TikTok.
So TikTok is something I enjoyed. Very honest. It's something I enjoyed initially. Um, there was some really people would put out some really innovative or funny videos, and during the lockdown, of course, it was great time pass. But I don't know. I think I've gone off TikTok a little, so I've just stopped. Making also shooting those videos. It takes too much time, yeah, and I don't have that kind of patience. Sometimes you shoot something that takes you half an hour to record, and then you barely get any likes for it. So TikTok is an audience that I probably don't understand as much. But having said that, people are way more people are kinder with their words on TikTok than Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm just on Instagram, and it has been, when we started the Women Inspiring Network, actually, I have been part of some of the international women programs. I got selected for a program as a emerging entrepreneur from India in 2011, which was in the United States, and the program was by Hillary Clinton, who's the Secretary of the state. And the idea was to connect emerging women leaders with Fortune 500 women with C positions like Ariana Huffington, Sheryl Sandberg, and the likes, Indra Nooyi.
Nice.
And it sort of made me think, and I've been wanting to do, because my main business is actually into public relation and social media, which is what I started in Bombay. And I live in Delhi now. Yeah. But, it was like the lockdown which sort of gave me, I keep doing my bits and pieces for women initiatives, but I never really had the time. But the lockdown pushed me.
Hello.
That has given me a lot of food for thought and an inspiration. So we have really enjoyed this whole journey of the Women Inspiring Network. And hopefully we can create some impact in the coming days for the women of our country. And, so I want you to sort of inspire our viewers. Like, how do you cope with competition and stress? And what has kept you positive during these times, especially?
So the thing is, I obviously, I mean, we all have stress. I have a lot of work stress as well. Um, People out there think that because I come from a certain family, everything is taken care of for me, which is so wrong. Because at the end of the day, I live alone. I take care of myself. Um, I don't depend on anyone. I don't like to depend on anyone. So when I'm really stressed out, I think the one thing that really kind of takes me through is gratitude. Gratitude really heals, because when you sit down to actually list down the number of things that you have in your life rather than what you don't have, or what you know, aspire to be or want and all of that, you realize how lucky you are, and how gifted you are, how blessed you are. And that feeling of gratitude really heals, you know. It it makes me, just move on. And so
I,
there are, I mean, there are times when I say stressed, I mean, like I really get anxious, you know, because we don't really know what's going to happen in the future, when or how work is going to start, you know. I'm somebody who likes to, I'm also a planner. I have a bit of OCD, so I need to know what I'm doing. I need to have a little bit of a plan. But right now, with everything that's happening around, I don't really have one. Don't know where to start from, you know. So the only thing that is taking me through is, I think, the endorphins that release in my system when I work out and
is
when I meditate. Yeah, and I make sure I watch happy things on TV. Uh, you know, especially when I sleep, because
yeah.
that's the mood you kind of wake up in. I read something inspiring or nice. I don't indulge in too much negativity. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, that's a really good attitude to have, because if we sort of look over and what you mentioned about gratitude, world over everybody is impacted, whether
Yes,
business,
absolutely.
everybody. So it was actually also, when I look at it, it was time for us to reset ourselves, rethink, internally. I mean, we all were always so busy, we never really had the time. And
Absolutely.
now, I mean, look at us, we're all connecting virtually, and yet our lives are still going on. I mean, when I'm hearing stories, I get inspired every day. So I just feel it was time for us to reset ourselves, because what we really did with the, environment. We have another
Yeah.
question. Yeah, we have another question from the audience. How do you cope with failure? Ishita has asked that.
Um, how do I cope with failure? Now, when you say failure, uh, you know what I mean? It's kind of subjective. I mean, at the end of the day, we have our goals. You know, we feel like we've not achieved them. We feel like we failed. But then that is the time you really need to kind of, I talk to myself a lot. So that is the time you kind of need to understand how much you've achieved. It's not about what you've not achieved. You know what I mean? I have my goals too. And I've been through some dark patches, dark phases in my life too, where um, my life or my career didn't exactly go the way I wanted it to. I started off with the best. I started off with Yash Raj Films, and I thought everything would be hunky dory post that, and that was the kind of work I was always going to do. But unfortunately, when I was pushed out into the world, I realized that shit, it's tough out there. You know, it's not that easy to say no to work when you don't have any work. Whatever
Sure.
work is coming to you, also to say no to that is very difficult. Um,
Yeah.
I went through depression. I went through my you know, low patches, but every time I emerged, I came back stronger. And I have
Yeah.
a very strong family backing. If you see, they're all very, very strong individuals, whether it's my sister, my mother. So it's so important to have good, positive people around you, you know,
Yeah.
because that can. And when I went through those difficult patches, I I got help as well. So I got the right guidance as well. That's what kind of helped me through. But I think the most important thing that really uh, helped me through all my difficult phases was spirituality. That is something
Yeah.
that gave me a different kind of strength. Uh, I never wanted to give up. I reached a stage where I started questioning everything in my life. Why things happened a certain way, or why certain patterns repeated in my life. And I needed another explanation, a different answer. And I got that when I turned to spirituality. I'm not saying
Wow.
religious, I'm saying spiritual.
Yes, yes.
Um, so that is something that gives me immense strength and takes me through anything that I have to face in my life.
Wow. That's a lot of courage to really share that with us, Shamita, and inspire our viewers. You know, some of the stories which are there on our platform on mental health, there are even teenagers and high school kids who've actually told us about their stories on mental health and how they overcame that. And it's really good that now we're talking about it. Like, you know, we did a campaign which is like, it's okay not to be okay sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's
that was
wonderful.
there, that is there. And one of our viewers have asked us, before I move on to our last question, when will your next movie come?
So my next
Zohib.
film, um, sorry, Zohib.
And Zohib.
Yeah. So my next film is called The Tenant. Um, I mean, I'm hoping in a few months it'll come out on an OTT platform. It was actually a film that was made for the festivals, but it turned out so nice they want to release it here as well. And I'm actually looking forward to that because it's a script, a subject that is very real, characters that are very real, characters that you will relate to. You know, it highlights the hypocritical society we live in. How people are so judgmental about single women out there. Women after the age of 30 are no longer single; they're called unmarried. So it is about this girl uh, who comes from a, a place that is very different from the society she walks into, and nobody knows where she's come from. She's obviously left something behind. She has this dark secret, and how in some way or the other she ends up making a difference in each and every one of their lives in that society. You know, it's a very conservative society. um, a very sweet story. There's a beautiful friendship that develops between a young boy and her. It's a very it's a story that will kind of touch your heart.
Yeah, we will definitely wait to watch that. And Anu has asked us, how is your relationship as a Masi with your niece and nephew?
Samisha, my niece is too small. She sleeps most of the time. She's just about started gurgling and making the cutest sounds, giving us a wide smile. What's really lovely about her, touchwood, is that she never cries. She's very quiet and she's always smiling, and that's so amazing. Vian, on the other hand, is like a ball of energy, you know. uh, and I mean, he's lovely. I share a lovely relationship with him. Touch wood.
Yeah, I can understand that. I have almost a 4-year-old, and she was also one of those with her smiles just kept me on my toes and, you know, with energy and inspiration at this time. Would you like
That's
to
it.
throw some light on the animal shelter and the animals, what you're doing for, you're an animal
Show
lover?
you my baby.
That's really sweet.
I just woke her up. Sorry, she's fast asleep on my lap. Sorry, go back.
And what is she called? Or is
She's
it a
Kiki.
he?
Kiki.
Kiki.
So I adopted her. She was found below my building, all
Okay.
dirty and hungry,
Huh.
and my house help brought her up, and she's all black. And I've always had cats in my house. Like I think 20-25 years I've grown up with cats in my house, and currently I have none. And so strange. I was actually thinking of getting a black cat with not that much hair, because technically I'm allergic to cat hair, but she's so lovely. She's so loving. And she's she's a little baby, very, very naughty, has needle sharp teeth. Um, but it's lovely. I mean, uh, this happened, I think, a day after the cyclone. So I didn't want her to be out, alone. So I thought I'll take her in. And I've always been like that. Actually, as a child, I remember I used to spend all of my pocket money on animals. There were two girls in school. Anything related to animals, any animal was in trouble, they would come to us. So I should just pick up kittens from the dustbin and take it home. And my father used to get so irritated.
Yeah.
But I love animals.
That's really nice. And someone's asked, I'm going to ask this is the last question. Meditation is so hard. How does one start? Like, how do you think of starting? Any tips on that?
So there is no process that you need to follow. Meditation is just about, it can just be you shutting your eyes and staying still and not wanting to control the thoughts, because there will be 1,000 thoughts that will come into your head at that particular time when you want that peace and quiet. But it's about just acknowledging it and just letting it go. Just letting it go. It's just about that. It's not about coming up with solutions at that time. It's just to quieten your mind. And I understand there are times when even I'm very restless. I can't sit in one corner and shut my eyes and meditate. But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
If you want that change, and let me tell you, it really, really helps, especially if you're dealing with issues with anxiety, stress. 10 minutes in the day, just give yourself that time.
Yeah.
That
And
really
you have
helps.
some really good online podcasts on meditation. I've actually been
Absolutely.
these days everything is available. I mean, content is there for everybody to sort of see. So our last
Yes.
message, a winning message to inspire our viewers, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities and in smaller towns, from you, Shamita.
For women,
For women.
well, recognize your dreams, your talent, and go out there and achieve it. You know what I mean? Just go out there and grab it.
Yes.
Gone are the times when you should get affected by what everybody says about you. Know who you are, know your strengths, and go out and do what you were meant to do. That's what I will say to all the women out there. And just don't feel guilty about your dreams. There are a lot of women out there who still feel very guilty. Just get out of that phase and live your life.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Shamita, for joining us at the Women Inspiring Network. Hearing your inspirational thoughts are again inspiring me. And for all our viewers who haven't, who missed our conversation, this would be uploaded onto Women Inspiring Network Instagram account as well as Facebook and YouTube. So please do follow us there. And it has been a great journey. We have a sustainability
Such a
pledge.
pleasure speaking.
Yes. And thank you so much, Shamita. And this is Tuti signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.